to Fresh Take. You are listening to the Fresh Take Network.
You're listening to the Fresh Take Network.
What it is, what it do. Welcome to Fresh Take. We got the new classic Nick. I'm Joshua Adamley Marathon. A Superman review between myself and the new classic Nick. We'll get Devin later on this week, but I couldn't hold on anymore. Nick, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am.
Yes,
Iggy
you
Pop,
are. The Crab Joys.
Well, that was the teddy bears. I don't think it was a big deal. And then Iggy Pop. It's funny that James Gunn always at least has like one needle drop per movie that bumps up record sales for somebody.
And it's Iggy Pop.
Yeah. And then, no, I don't think anyone really, I mean, you have a pretty extensive list of knowing bands. Like, did you know the teddy bears were?
No, that I did not know.
Yeah. But Iggy Pop getting one more banger out.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, the soundtrack was really good. I was surprised, actually.
Did you know that Gunn...
Actually, I wasn't surprised. I was waiting for it. It's James Gunn. What am I talking about?
He has separate Spotify playlists for Soups, for Lois, for Lex, and I think Jimmy Olsen.
Cool. That's awesome.
So, puts a lot of dedication into it. But I guess kind of just starting off, just kind of eternal thoughts on the movie.
I'm just glad to see a Superman movie that I care about again. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time. I'm not gonna lie to you. And even in Batman versus Superman and the Justice League, he was like a side character almost. He wasn't like the guy, he wasn't like the focus. And I think this one and the 2006 was whatever, you know. Man of Steel, I haven't gone back to it since theaters, so I couldn't. I
did, like I said the other day, and now it's so. I know there's people that are defenders of, and we had Devin on B-Sides after the show, and he's like, "No, that's a good movie." I'm like, "Yeah, but after you watch this, go back and watch that," and you're like, "Oh, right, this is Homelander. This isn't Superman."
Right, and I think we'll get into it, but I think the stakes are where they need to be. I think the villain is right where they need it to be.
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned it yesterday, the difference between Holt and Eisenberg. It's like night and day, like I like Eisenberg, don't get me wrong, but like, not in this role, Holt just blows him away.
Even Mom and Pa Kent, like Kevin Costner just killing himself in a tornado.
They have Southern accents. I can't believe
Southern accents.
It's about the first time ever.
The conversation he has with Pa Kent is so real and so good. I like Ma Kent. I like everything. Like they're like in the past, they would just like, even back to Smallville, right? They get John Snyder and Annette O'Toole, who played Lana in Superman 3. They just like, hey, here's some famous people to play the Kents. Instead, like, Pa Kent is relatively known character actor, but Ma Kent I've never seen anywhere before. And they feel like these would be two people that would adopt him in Kansas.
Right. And you're absolutely right. And I never saw Ma before. I don't know what she's in, but Taylor Pruitt-Vince is my guy. Like he's a character actor in so much stuff. I just watched Identity the other day. Movie does not hold up that well, but he's like the focus of that movie. And seeing him again, I'm like, all right, it's good to see him again.
And a big thing for you has always been the villain. And I think when you talked about Batman, Superman Returns, he's a piece of shit, but Spacey I thought was the highlight of that movie as Lex. Like he kind of carried that. I thought Roth was fine, but I don't think Singer gave him a lot to really do with Superman. I think he kind of had kid gloves on because he's in the Reeves mold type of thing. So I think that was not really a fair role to Brandon Roth. But into this, like Corn Sweat immediately feels like Superman, and Nicholas Hoult feels like Lex. He feels like this, like, go back to the comics, the animation of just like, this guy's like, no, like I have everything in the world that I could want. I am potentially the smartest man in the world. I am the richest man in the world. I am the most powerful man in the world, but you're still a thorn in my side. And I hate that you exist because I could be happy with everything I have, but I hate that you have one more level than I do of just this overwhelming power that I can't have.
Right. And it's like, and it's nothing that Superman wasn't like built. He's an alien, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. And it's like, I hate you, you know, it's like you came here to destroy us and this and that and whatever, you know, and it's like, if that is your reason for hating Superman, I am 100% on board. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just cut and dry. It's like, I don't like you. That's it. I want to destroy you. I don't like you.
Exactly. Well, for my generation, I think Michael Rosenbaum kind of held the gold for Lex. Obviously, Hackman, a lot of people like Hackmanism, but Michael Rosenbaum was kind of the definition of Lex because he really held this level of what Lex is. I don't know if you watched Supergirl or Superman and Lois. The two Lexes they had on that were fine. John Cryer was Lex in Supergirl. He was fine. I can't remember the actor's name, but dude from The Walking Dead played Lex in Superman and Lois. Both perfectly fine. But Holt just brings this extra level. And now, like you kind of were talking it offline yesterday, like he brings this layer. Like we haven't even seen him in the suit. We haven't seen him bring Henry Hackshaw. We haven't seen him make Metallo. Like we haven't seen the extra level of hate and creation that he's going to have. The fact that this is the guy that could team and outsmart Darkseid, that could, you know, team with Brainiac or fuse with Brainiac. Like all those possibilities now get you really excited. Something that we haven't really had in Marvel. Not to have the comparison of two, but it's hard right now not to with the new DCU coming together. It's all those possibilities that you haven't, you know, like you've been saying with some of these villains, like these villains come like Killmonger or Thanos, and then they're gone, and you can't get excited. You can get excited about the heroes, but you never get excited about the villains.
Right. And, you know, it's like you had all these in Marvel, you had all these like side villains, like you just said, Killmonger, Ronin, like all them, you know, and then it's like you have Thanos kind of like in the background, and then all of a sudden you get 2 movies with him, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. He's done. What do you do next? And then it's the villain is one of the, you know, that's what makes Batman so great. That's why I love a Batman. Batman's rogue gallery of villains is the top tier best villains in comic books. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like the Joker, you know, everybody loves the Dark Knight because of the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. The movie itself is pretty good, but everybody loves the Joker. You need the villain to bring you in. You know, that's what made the Batman so great. You know, you had the Riddler, you know, and you had the Penguin until, you know, before he was the Penguin, but you know these characters, right? 100%. You know these characters, and, you know, and you want them to be the big bads, and, you know, and to see Holt bring Luthor to that level of he is the big bad. You know, and you want to see him.
And you see a more vulnerable Superman, which I think is going to be good because you build him up. And now, like, and you bring in more power threats when they eventually bring in Darkseid, or they bring in Doomsday, which I don't really want to see Doomsday again. I'm good. But if they bring in Doomsday, or even a villain that I know everyone's talking about Brainiac, which we've never seen Brainiac in live action. But even a villain like Parasite, which Parasite's one of my favorite Superman villains, and I think they could do a lot of cool stuff with Parasite.
Yeah.
So but you kind of get excited, or even like manipulative ones like Toyman or Mr. Pixelet, like those kind of manipulative, or Mongol. Like there's the cool thing about Supes, Batman has this too, I guess, is the manipulation ones, right?
Yeah.
That kind of mess with his mind, and Lex is kind of in that tool as well, because it was the whole brain versus brawn thing was really good that they had that, because that's kind of what you face with Supes, right? You have to outthink him. Magic can obviously knock him out of kryptonite, but I like too, other than Metamorpho having the kryptonite, they never really just use kryptonite as a crux. Like, oh, we got kryptonite, you're done.
Right. And to see that just in that one, you know, scene, that one location was awesome. You know, it wasn't like a fallback weapon. He didn't have like Krypton gun rays, you know what I'm saying? Like kryptonite rays that shot him, but it was cool. You know, and you know, I talked about this before, and I'll make another reference later, but it's kind of like he got his ass kicked in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was, and you know, I compared it to John Wick a couple times in this movie.
Yeah.
John Wick gets beat up in those movies, and Superman got beat up in this movie a couple times. And it starts at the beginning. Sorry, spoiler alert. At the very beginning of the movie, it's him landing in the Arctic, getting his ass after he got his ass kicked.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And I mean,
first scene.
I think him getting up and walking. There's 2 scenes in here. I'm like, yeah, this guy's Superman. Because when you see the trailer, like from the trailers, were you sold on Corn Sweat, or was it not until the movie you were sold on him?
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not sold on any Superman until I see them on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I saw him in the trailer. Like, I don't know if I'm sold on Corn. I mean, side note, I'm kind of going through that right now with Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. Like after the trailer, I'm like, I'm still not 100% sold. But you know, the two moments. So when he got like the son back in and he walked out of the Fortress of Solitude and flew away, I'm like,
That
oh
was
shit.
so cool.
But more importantly, when the Raptors all come and he does the spin with everything, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. This is Superman. This is the Superman I have been waiting since I was, you know, a teenager watching Justice League Unlimited, or Justice League or the Superman animation. I'm like, this is the Superman that I have been waiting for. And I think for a lot of people in our generation, that's kind of the Superman that we grew up with, right? Like I watched a little bit of the Dean Cain one growing up. So that was one of the first Superman. And I don't think people realize how big of a show that was when it first came out. Like it was a big deal. But then you had Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. So that was kind of our Superman, and then Smallville, obviously. And now you kind of get the touch. And kind of to kind of ask you too, like it was starting to wonder, like, is Superman a draw anymore? Like obviously like characters like Spider-Man and Batman and Wolverine, maybe even Iron Man, had passed him maybe in the pop culture zeitgeist when he was number one for so long. And it feels like he has a chance to capture that back again now.
I think so too, and I think I'll 100% agree with that. I think it's we're all just kind of waiting for a good Superman movie. You know, I think that's just what it was. We haven't had a really good movie, you know, since Superman 1, 2, maybe
probably two,
right?
Yeah,
but like ever since, and we're talking like 40 years in the making of us waiting for a good Superman movie. Whereas, you know, and not just because I'm a fanboy, but we got Batman movies that are like iconic comic book movies, great films, you know, and they just keep making these great Batman movies. And you're just waiting for a Superman movie to kind of recapture that spotlight after 40 plus years.
Yeah, I remember after Dark Knight Rises, because there was a Man of Steel trailer in that movie, and it was produced by Nolan. So you're like, oh, well, if Nolan's going to be part of this, he'll be good. And, you know, after Man of Steel, I thought, oh, yeah, this is good. And I think, you know, Cavill was a good Superman, but like I said, is like now watching it through the eyes of this one is like, okay, yeah, this movie is maybe not as good as I thought it was. Because this brings you, like you brought it up right away. Like the one thing a lot of people say is like, okay, no, this guy can't be in the Matt Reeves Batman. But then you're also kind of like, it's interesting. And James Gunn has said like, it's not going to happen, but I can't say for sure it's not going to happen.
I just think it would be so hard. The Batman movie, like the whole production of everything is just it's completely different. You know,
the music tones too.
Oh my God, you have the darkest movie, comic book movie, and I'm not talking about lighting or writing. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything was just dark. And then you have the Superman with the trumpets and the colors and everything else. It's like, it's Superman, you know, and then you go to the new Matt Reeves Batman. It is dark. So trying to combine the two, I don't know. I don't know if I want to see it. I don't know if they can pull it off. But
well, you've heard who the DCU Batman's going to be, right?
I heard the rumor. I don't know if it was full.
It's Alan Richardson is the rumor.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
I hope.
So, I mean, I still think you want to have the tone of him being dark and brooding.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the Reeves one is almost so down there. But I'm also like this Superman that's just saying like darn and oh gosh and oh golly, mixing with that Batman. There is something very intriguing about that.
And it's so funny because like he does a lot of the corny Superman stuff in this movie, which is which was amazing, and I loved it. You know, like he doesn't kill anyone. You know, and that's the whole thing. It's like even when he starts using his eyes as lasers, you know, and it's like he's hitting the soldiers in the chest, and you see the burns, but you see them breathing. You know, they make a point of he doesn't kill anybody.
No, and I think even like him saving the squirrel, right? That is much different than. And I hate to be the person that compares it, and every pod says this, but like you have to with the Snyder versus the Gun, like him saving the squirrel and this is a Superman that wants to save everyone, where you had that scene with Superman and Zod, and he's just going through buildings and destroying everything. And I know it leads to kind of what him and Bat's conflict is in BVS, but still, like, this is the Superman that I read and grew up with. If like he will save the squirrel, he doesn't want the kaiju to die. He feels like he can save the kaiju, and he's gonna battle the Justice Gang on it, and later battle Batman. and other Justice League members on these type of things. Like, we didn't have to push it to death. We could have done it. There could have been other things we could have done.
And I didn't feel that with the Cavill Superman.
No.
I didn't feel that. I didn't feel he needed to save everyone, or like, just those, again, the squirrel, the kaiju, it's like he was like legitimately sad when Mr. Terrific killed that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, oh man, we should have just kept it or figured it out how to like bring it back or whatever,
And the Justice Gain, I think the one thing that Gunn, he brought this up on the Dak Shepard pod that I didn't really think about that I did like, he's like, for a lot of us, when we read comics, there's already kind of an established world of heroes around it. He's like, I don't need to make a Hawk Girl movie or a Guy Gardner movie, but he's like, I can at least make it like they're lived in it. Like, I don't have to give all the character depth. And I don't need to do the whole, he landed in Kansas and Mom Puckhead got him and Jor-El sent him off in Iraq. He's like, you kind of know this stuff, so I can give you those surroundings and still world build around. And that's one thing for the start here of the DCU I really appreciated by Gunn.
100%, and it's they just kind of show up. Yeah. Like they've always been there, you know what I'm saying? And they know each other, and it's like, just like da-da-da. The scene where Clark and Lois are talking in the apartment and the battle's going on. Yeah. And she's kind of like, shouldn't you be over there? He's like, they got this kind of thing. And it's like, they're fighting this like giant alien creature. I'm like, this.
I know who that is now, amazing. Apparently.
Who's that?
That's Batmite.
Amazing. Like,
it's apparently Batmite.
It's so good. That scene is so good. It lasts so long. That battle is going on. That scene is like a 5-minute scene. And
I love you have the lantern bat.
Oh, it's just so good. And like to see this relationship conversation going on with this superhero stuff going on over here is just, it was incredible.
I also like that's a good point. You brought up the Lois and the Clark conversations. I like the building of that relationship, that it's fresher. The scene at the start when she's doing the interview with him, that was really, because you kind of had this in BVS, right? Of the duality of Superman, of who can he save, what can he not save. You see a little bit of that in Frank Miller's comic, Dark Knight comic as well. And kind of him saying like, people were going to die. What am I supposed to do? Like, and Lois being like, going full journalist and knowing she's not right, but happy ask these questions. I think that scene was really important to not only set the tone of their relationship, but set the tone of who Clark is and who Superman is.
And to not have a reveal was big for me. Like, she already knew.
Yeah.
She already knew he was Superman. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that was important to me, because I don't need another Superman reveal. Oh, you're Superman. I'm going to save you. It's like, no, she knows. And that's important, and I think, and it's funny because the reveal at the end too, the Wendell Pierce, it's like, how long has she been dating Superman kind of line, and I'm like, that's amazing, it's like, it's not a secret, and it's, but nobody really talks about it. And it's funny to see that, because it's like, that's real life stuff.
Well, even kind of with Guy being like, oh, the hypno glasses. Yeah. Okay.
Right. That's funny.
Because I think sometimes you don't want to insult your audience's intelligence. And I think Gunn did a really good job in this of like, okay, this stuff. Like, he's like, yeah, maybe your partner or family member that's going to this might not know some of this stuff, but he's like, a majority of people that are going to go see a Superman movie know this stuff. So I'm not going to reiterate it because I don't need to.
Right. Which was, I get when Nolan did the Batman, Batman Begins. But it was a completely different origin story. Yeah. When Tony Stark built his first suit. We've never seen that before. Sometimes I'm okay with an origin story. I'm glad they didn't do it with Spider-Man, and I was really happy with that. And I'm really happy they didn't do it with this, because we already know this. We already know what's going on.
And he said for the Batman and Robin Brave and the Bold movie, we're not seeing the alley. The alley's done.
Fine.
We don't need to see the alley anymore. We're good.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
We've seen it. And like I said, we've seen him land in the rockets. I've seen that so many times. I don't need to see that anymore. I think too, like Rachel Brosnahan, wow, did she just kill it as Lois? She brought so much there. Like Margot Kidder, I think, really set a tone for Lois for so long. And I don't know like how many of this we're going to take like from the original movie and be like, they were better. In all respect to Margot Kidder, I think Rachel Brosnahan already is kind of captured maybe to be the best Lois already.
I think so too. I'll agree with that, actually. You know what? Especially movie wise,
Yeah.
Don't worry, I like Terry Hatcher. I'm not gonna lie.
And
I'm a Terry Hatcher fan.
And
She might be my
Alberta Girl
favorite.
era. We got Alberta Girl, Erica Durance from
Right.
Smallville as well. Terry
Exactly.
Hatcher, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, but character for character, I think she was probably she pulled it off the best. I do have to go back and to the first two, especially the first two Supermen. It's been a couple years, but yeah, and seeing like what that Lois character looks like compared now to the Rachel Brosnahan.
Well, yeah, she kind of matched what you think for Lois. Jimmy, the ultimate player.
So great. And they played on that heavy. And that was funny. Like that was his character was great.
I loved when Tessmacher when he's like, we have the end of the weekend. He's like, the whole weekend? Like so the whole thing? Like the whole thing?
And it's so funny when she's like, when he's like she sends him a bunch of selfies. He's like, what the hell are you sending me all this stuff for? It's just some pictures of you. But then, they use that because she was taking pictures of like the plans. But it was so funny the way that was done because it's just like a girl sending him selfies.
Yeah. I guess the only negative thing I had, and I think it will be fixed, the Jor-El stuff, I think, is the only controversial thing to some comic readers and loyalists to the Superman origin. But I'm also okay with like peering off and making different adjustments to things. And I also do think, like, if you look at the message, it isn't saying dominate Earth per se. It is saying you are stronger than this world, rebuild our race. But I know how that message can be interpreted. I mean, Kara, the only thing I didn't like too is like, yeah, we've done all these scientists, they've heard all of it, this is accurate, and we're not going to debate it. It's like, oh, okay, like these people know Kryptonian just like that. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I'll agree with that too, and it's like when you heard the message too, I know then it's written a certain way that Lex was allowed to spin it, into like, look at this, he wants to destroy the planet. It's kind of like, is it? But the message was said enough that it was, close enough that he could spin that.
You manipulate. I mean, we could see Kara be like, no, this is what the message actually says.
Right.
Like they could correct it if they really need to. Or did it? I'll get you on a few things of this bit too, but like, did this get you more excited for Peacemaker in a month? Did it get you more excited for Lanterns? Did it get you more excited for Supergirl now?
Peacemaker I was already excited for because I really like season 1. I thought it was awesome.
Me too.
Cena in this world is so great. I'm glad he got a little cameo in there.
I like the Chris Smith, to
tie in that it is like the same universe. I love it. But yeah, I'm a little more excited for Supergirl. We talked about it. I hope Captain Marvel, I really liked the first one, but that second one was
It's bad.
And I'm really hoping they don't, he figures out that was bad and not.
I think it's going to have a
direction,
darker tone too. Because if I don't know if you read the World of Tomorrow book with Supergirl, she's a drunk in it because she experienced Krypton exploding.
Sure.
Right. So and then that's what I mentioned. Like she only goes to places with a red sun.
Right. Because
then she can get drunk. I am interested. Like, how the hell does she get back to Earth then?
Right. And that was kind of cool. Like the last little scene was good. And it did get me excited. I think she's going to be great in that role.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think just that 5 lines she had in this movie. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it.
Yeah. We liked her from House of the Dragon. So
sure. Yeah, 100%. I'm amped up for this Lanterns.
I think if it wasn't for Dune's out next year, GTA's out next year, and Doomsday, I'm like, Lanterns is really near the top of my list now. Especially since Jon Stewart's my favorite Lantern as well. Yeah. And it's Aaron Pierre, who's amazing.
And that's it. The casting's on point, but I think just seeing, because in the trailer you look at Philly and you're like, oh man, he got the stupid haircut and the whole thing. But it's like, you see him in action. I'm like, this is really good. This is a hell of a lot better than I expected.
Flip off on the tanks.
It's so great.
Yeah.
All of it, like the way he uses the ring, like everything. It was awesome.
Especially because the Reynolds version of Lantern, right?
Oh my God. I barely have any memory of that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I think the only thing I did like about that was when the Green Lantern Corps was teaching him stuff.
Sure.
That was cool, but no, like you were saying, he's funny, and he kind of everything you imagine from The Ring as a kid, or growing up with the books, you kind of see it there.
Yeah, I think they were all great. I think the Justice Gang was awesome. Hawkgirl was great. Mr.
Hawkgirl's
Terrific
awesome.
was amazing, and he had way more screen time than I
Oh
expected,
yeah,
and he was awesome. He
yeah.
was
He was.
so good.
There's some talks of a spinoff with him and Jimmy, and that's cool. I don't want Gunn to go down the Marvel route though,
No.
of diluting things.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay. Like I think he said like we want to have 2 movies a year, 1 animated, 1 TV.
Yeah.
Like that's fine, but don't push it any further.
Yeah.
Even doing 1 movie, 1 animated, 1 show, I think is fine.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Don't that's the problem with like Disney, and it's like, I don't know. You know me and the Marvel stuff, right? It's just kind of like, are you gonna watch this? Like, yeah, I'll eventually watch it. It's kind of like I'm at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
I'm not
still
amped up
from
for
Marvel
anything.
this year, Nick, we have
There's still some
Fantastic
more.
Four next week. Then we have Eyes of Wakanda. Then we have Marvel Zombies, and then we have Wonder Man. We have 4 things still this year.
Which is
And
insane.
I don't. If you ask me what I was the most excited for those, it's probably Marvel Zombies.
Sure.
It's probably the one I'm the most excited for. Fantastic Four. That's kind of. I don't want to do the dump on Marvel thing. I want to get back to Soups, but do you think this put extra pressure now on Fantastic Four with how well received Superman has been now?
I think so in that space, yes. I just think that Marvel needs a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like they need a hit. Thunderbolts was like a hit, but it wasn't like
critical.
A hit.
Critical hits.
This needs to be a hit. Mm-hmm. if they're putting all their chips on Mr. Fantastic to be the next leader kind of thing, it's like this movie has to hit. If it doesn't, like, what do you do? How do you go back again?
Well, especially this is your big movie leading into Doomsday. Like Spider-Man doesn't sound like it'll have as much to lead into Doomsday, and for Marvel, after this, they don't have a Marvel movie out for a year because the next Spider-Man movie is next July, and then after that it's December. But do you think Doomsday is going to go head to head against Dune in December? Because
somebody's going to.
I think Marvel moves. I don't think Dune moves.
I think based on, you know what? I'll bet based on the success of this, we'll find out. If they're a November release or a December release.
Yeah, I think. I mean, right now, I don't think Disney planned that Lilo and Stitch was going to potentially be their most successful movie this year. I mean, well, let's see what happens with Zootopia in November. But okay, what else? I've talked so much about Hoggy stuff on Soups. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the dog,
Crypto,
was great. I was expecting it from the trailer. I'm kind of like, is this going to be too cheesy? It's going to be too much, but it was just enough. Yeah. And it wasn't like it didn't suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you see something like that, you're like, oh, this is for the kids, whatever. But it's like, no, this dog was actually badass. You know, and then again, like I previously said, it's like you get that John Wick element. Spoiler alert: the dog gets kidnapped, and he's like, "Where's my dog?" And it's like he kind of goes on a rampage to find this dog, and I'm like, "That's amazing. That's what I need." And it was so funny. And then finding out at the end, it's not even, he says it, it's like, oh, I'm just kind of dog sitting kind of thing. And it's like, you find out that it's like Supergirls. You're like, okay, this all makes sense. So I'm probably going to see that dog again next year.
100%. Well, and I like that you can kind of see that Kara is kind of a mess. So hence Crypto is kind of a mess. And I'm so interested too in the dynamic they're going to tell us of how Kara and Cal came to meet. And then how Crypto kind of came into the whole thing as well. And then you can tell, like, when he does the fight for Crypto, because you're first like, well, it's like the last thing from Krypton for him, but it's not just, it's his cousin's dog as well. It's the last overall part of the family. And if he lets Crypto go, then he lets down the only family member that he has as well. So there's layers to this.
Right. 100%, and that's the whole thing. And it's, and the lengths he goes to find this dog, but then he finds the dog and saves the dog, but the dog ends up saving him in literally the same scene, which was super cool. I thought that, what do they call it? The, not mini dimensions. They called it something else.
Pocket.
Yeah. Pocket dimensions. That was cool. Or pocket universe. That was cool. I thought that whole scene was really good. The cages were cool. With all the other, a lot of other characters and stuff that hopefully we get to see some. It was pretty cool. Actually, that whole scene was really well done. It wasn't cheesy. It wasn't like, oh no, like too long of how are we going to get out of this? It's like they get out of it quick, and I was like, that's what I needed. I didn't need half the movie in this pocket universe, and they didn't do it. And I was extremely happy with it.
I like the rage bait monkeys on the typewriters. That was funny
Yes,
because
that was amazing.
that's something a crazy millionaire, billionaire would do if they had that type of thing. They go and rage bait, and you can see that like the stuff on like that from Twitter a little. I mean, and I like too, like in the long term, this could have, you know, the like I'm assuming the end goal here is to get to Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's the end goal here, but that could be a little bit of a setup there for the Pocket Universe. You set up different things there in the future with the Pocket Universe potentially. Well, don't have to go to it. Well, as you know, again, I don't hate to hit a Marvel, but Marvel with their multiverse stuff, TVA and Deadpool and all that, it's been a little bit messy. With this, it's like opened the door just a little bit if we want to go there, and we closed it. And if we ever want to go back, we can explain this is the reason why.
Yeah, and they mentioned there was they were around the world, right? So there's different pockets kind of like everywhere. Yeah. So because you know this one might have been closed on this in this one, there's probably 5 more, which I'm sure we'll see. But you're right, it's not messy. I followed it. I get it. It's not like not to hate on Marvel again, but it's almost like I find the multiverse like a cop-out. Yeah, kind of thing. It's like, oh, Iron Man's dead. Psych, multiverse. I'm gonna bring in a new Iron Man, and it's kind of like a, you know, I don't see DC doing that. You know, it's just almost like a mode of like transportation, almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I'm gonna go from here to here, and you know, using it as a jail was awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of like the Phantom Zone in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the only time I could see Marvel, if they DC, if they do that. Is like I said, if we ever do an Injustice movie.
Sure.
And if they do, then it's time to bring Cavill back as that. Two Superman you would do for that would break the internet is either you bring Cavill back, which I think would do it, or you make it Anthony Starr.
Sure. Oh my God. Amazing.
Yeah. Because to have Homelander as the evil Superman would be, I think that would break the internet.
Yeah, as long as we don't bring back Keaton again.
Yeah, I think I'm
okay.
Yeah, the only part about that movie that sucks is I did like the Supergirl in that.
Sure.
But Kara does. I mean, Millie Alec does fit Kara. Like she did a really good job of fitting that Kara static. What do you think about Ultraman? Not Bizarro per se, but Ultraman.
Yeah, I get it. It was fine. I thought the reveal was fine. You know, I wasn't
pretty obvious. It was like,
exactly.
No,
100%. I wasn't shocked. It's like, oh, they take off the mask and it's him. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. You know, I thought it was done good. I thought it was interesting. It was kind of like, the fight in Superman 4. I can't remember the villain's name.
Nuclear Man.
You're right. It's like the same powers. It's the same thing. And I'm like, okay, you know, he's fighting somebody who can match him. So I thought that was pretty cool to see a battle like that. It wasn't him just, you know, busting ass on everybody. It was he had somebody that could, you know, like beat him. And we saw it at the very beginning of the movie. Ultraman kicked his ass, you know?
Yeah.
And, but seeing that like a mano kind of battle, I think you needed to have that, especially as an introduction. And I was fine with it.
And you can always, because I sound like, well, he's just bizarre. I'm like, yeah, but you can also always, Lex gets out and he's like, you let me down and I'm going to genetically alter you more. And then he becomes Bizarro. Like he doesn't necessarily have to be that or that point. He can become Bizarro still. Yeah. Like it's not out of, and we can still have the other Ultraman we have that's in the other universes in the Crime Syndicate that has Owlman and all the other reverse side of things as well. And you know, the one thing I did like this is he didn't go heavy hearted of like mentioning Central City or Queen City or Themyscira, like to just like let you know, like they did a very good job of like not throwing so many because I was worried, Nick. I don't know what you was like. Shit, like this has got Metamorpho in it. It's got Lantern. It's got Mr. Terrific. It's got Lex. It's got Hawkgirl. Like, how are they going to balance all this out? And I thought, yeah, like I would have liked to see more from Hawkgirl or stuff. Like I think they did enough to let like you don't need to give Hawkgirl's whole origin story. It's very fucking complicated.
Right.
Like, but you did enough to be like, okay, Hawkgirl is different than Superman. She will kill.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think on all of them, you know, and you're right. I think that's, you know, with the runtime. So I love the runtime. You know, get me wrong. You know, we haven't talked about the runtime yet. We're talking about a 2-hour Superman movie, chock full of, you know, you just said 6 different, you know, 5 different, you know, heroes, essentially 4 different heroes. And then you have, you know, all these villains and everything else. You had all these characters going on. but like, but it's done a certain way that I don't think anybody felt left out, and I didn't get enough of someone.
Yeah.
Like you just said, Hawk Girl. It's like, I think I just got enough of her. I know who she is. I know what she can do. Cool. We got a lot of Mr. Terrific because of the whole, pocket universe stuff. Cool. We got a lot, we got enough Guy, which I was fine with, but that sets up everything. And with the 2-hour runtime, I think it was like perfect.
I'm really interested to see from Lanterns too. Like, I like that this is a world that has Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, and Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
And obviously Hal and Jon are working together. So why is Guy the one on Earth and why are Hal and Jon elsewhere? So that's really cool as well to have 3 Lanterns established already in this world. That makes it really interesting. And Fillion is going to be in Lanterns and he's going to be in Peacemaker. So you're going to get a little bit more of that side of things as well.
Which is great, and I think Fillion's kind of the one to do that. Like as an actor, I think just in general, I think he's the one that can kind of do the action, do the comedy probably better than Chancellor and Aaron Pierre. I think he's just funnier as an actor.
Yeah,
and Peacemaker's not probably the least serious comic, Marvel DC property, we have.
Yeah, I don't say he's their Deadpool, but maybe he's going to be kind of their Deadpool in a way. Sure. Yeah. I liked the Maxwell Lord little Easter egg there. Of course, it's Sean Gunn. I laughed. I'm like, of course it's Sean Gunn.
I was waiting for him the whole movie. I'm like, where's Sean Gunn? I'm like, of course, the last in the credits, pretty much.
And then our everyone's favorite Tudyk is the one robot. And the good thing is now, like Tudyk, he is Dr. Phosphorus in Creature Commandos, which he just voices.
Yeah.
He is the voice of Clayface, which I don't know if he will be in the movie, but he was in Creature Commandos. And he's the voice of the robot here. And the Tudyk will do something else.
Oh, yeah. He's in this universe now. Gunn's got his guys, and I love when directors do that. I love when directors have their guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at the cast list too, and it's like, Michael Rooker plays one of the robots, and Palm plays one of the robots. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got his group, and I can guarantee you're probably going to see Rooker again. You're going to see Palm again. You're going to see these people.
Well, Batista will be in one of these. Like what? I was like wondering, what is Dave Batista? I mean, everyone wants Bane, but I don't think Dave will do that because he's been pretty sure he doesn't want to go with the extreme jacked anymore. So, you would assume that Dave will be. I saw the Justice Society in the hall, which is really cool.
Yes,
that in Pittsburgh they built that after the actual Hall of Justice. So that was childhood right there from Super Friends.
Yeah.
You saw Blue Panther there. There were some rumors that Dave could play Blue Panther.
Okay.
Which is cool. I mean, then because you wonder will Zoe be in this universe? Well, I don't know if Pratt will, but it seems like some of the Guardians will probably, make a path over here at some point.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't play Martian Manhunter, I don't need him painted green again.
Oh, who, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Actually, who would be a good Martian Manhunter? I'm trying to think. Need someone really stoic.
Yeah, that's it.
That Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, may he rest in peace, would have been kind of awesome. Andre Bior. He would have been awesome as Manhunter.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, with going back to Guardians too, it's even Bradley Cooper. I didn't know Bradley Cooper was in it.
No, they did.
I did not know he was in it, and I was like, "What the hell is Bradley Cooper doing in this movie?" And it's literally everyone from Guardians, right?
And let alone Jarrell. No Vin either yet.
Right.
Yeah. So Vin could be anything. And by the way, too, you just kind of go over the cast. This got me so excited for Lobo.
Yes.
And I don't know who's writing Lobo. I don't know. I kind of want Gunn to be the one that writes Lobo.
Is Lobo going to be in Supergirl? Do we know that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And this is all Momoa's wanted to do.
Is Momoa secured on that?
Yes, that's done. It's done. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Because that's great.
That's all he's wanted to do. That's his dream role, was to play Lobo.
Which is awesome.
Actually, that might be their Deadpool. That might be their Deadpool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Because in Justice League Unlimited, he's played by Ray Romano's brother in Always Raymond, Brad Garrett. Yeah. So I also for Supergirl trailer, I wouldn't show Lobo at all.
No,
I would save it. Maybe just show the bike.
Sure. Yes, like a little teaser of something.
Yeah,
like a hair or something on a bike.
But and kind of what we're talking about now too, Nick. This is the feeling after Endgame, before Endgame that I had from Marvel. That's when I walked away. I'm like, oh, this is that feeling again. And Fantastic Four could very well do it next week. Galactus could be unbelievable. And you have Silver Surfer, and you have the end credit scenes probably with RDJ. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm excited for Doomsday now. Like, you got me, Marvel. But I feel like this fresh new feeling for DCU, because I know you haven't seen Creature Commandos, but I think that set a great tone. I'm really excited for Peacemaker as well. And then, I think you had to do Superman first, because as much as Batman is probably the most famous hero in the world, Batman has such a good track record. You almost had to set it with Superman first.
Sure. And I think I want to know if he's going to bring back anyone from Suicide Squad as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's talks, but they're all in this world.
Waller's back.
I know Waller Margot Robbie's in this world. I know, right? I don't know, but who knows?
Well, because they're going to explain in Peacemaker how the universe works, apparently. Why this Peacemaker is the same Peacemaker we know in this universe.
Yeah.
So they're going to explain that. Gunn was asked about Margot. He said he wasn't sure, but
sure.
I'd love to see that Margot with a Poison Ivy.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
And I still I watch the animated show, and Kelly Kyoko does great as Harley in that. But honestly, live action Harley, Poison Ivy still being Lake Bell, who plays her in the animation. Lake Bell, I think would be. I mean, there's so many people you can get to be Poison Ivy as well, but love to see a Harley and Poison Ivy love story movie at some point as well. I mean, Idris, I'm assuming, would be back.
That's what I'm saying. Idris Elba, right? That's great. To have those guys on the roster.
Weasel.
Right. Sean Gunn performing double duty.
Double duty. Well, Fillion did, because Fillion was arms falling off, man. Yeah. I mean, he could bring back Pete Davidson if he wanted to in a different role.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. And, it's I love, I love that last Suicide Squad.
King
I
Shark?
know everyone, right. People were like, oh, Starro, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, Starro's
the GOAT. The original.
That was amazing.
Starro's the original.
Right. And then, but yeah, having some of those characters, even Das Chalmian or whatever, the polka dot guy. Yeah, it was great. Bring some of those guys.
I think the one thing that Gunn does so well, whether it be with Guardians or whether it be with Superman, is he realizes at the end of the day, comics can be silly and can be fun. They don't always have to be what a Frank Miller or other comics, a Todd McFarlane comic can be, right? They don't have to be so dark and brooding all the time. There is a little bit of vibrance and fun to it. And then there is those serious tones. And I thought he did a really good job of building that Lois and Clark scene talking about the war and how he got involved. I was like, oh, Gunn did a good job here showing I can be serious in tones and discussions about stuff. I know there's been a lot of the Israel-Palestine parallels with that side of things. We're not going to get into that here. But, we kind of just talked about, two countries having a conflict, and should Superman be involved in it or not?
Right. And I think that's, I think that was good. And it's also that he acted on his own. That was the whole point of the movie. Yeah. Essentially, is that he acted on his own to stop this war. Good. He chose a side. Yeah. He chose a side out of his free will. He wasn't sent. He chose a side, and this is what he did. And that kind of set a lot of people off. And that's real life.
Yeah, that's kind of like what they tried to do in Civil War with the Sokovia Accords. Sure. And I don't feel like they ever got into it enough. They kind of just this is an issue. We need to have a shield around the world. And they're but Cap and Tony disagree. Let's fight. Right. But that's a real situation of if there was heroes in this, do they have the right to just step in and just solve issues without consulting leaders?
And I think it's more the Sokovia stuff was kind of they tried to make it a focus, but it didn't really get there because it's not what I think about, whereas this is that was a focus of this movie. You know what I'm saying? This is wrong. Or is it wrong? Or is it wrong? Or is it right?
Exactly.
Or did he do the right thing? Like, who knows?
And the manipulation of Lex,
Sure.
like a lot of people, these people in higher positions, like, oh, I'm going to use this ward to manipulate to get what I want
100%.
as well, right? So like you saw like the double manipulation of Lex hates on Superman, but I can also use now what Superman has done to get further than he has, and a billionaire working with a leader of a country and what that means. Like, right. So like those are things that you kind of walk away thinking about a lot more.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I thought that was I thought that was really interesting, actually. Yeah.
So I think it's this going to be the best movie of the year. We see no, but I do think you're going to walk away. I think this will make a lot of top 10 lists at the end of the year. It's Warner Brothers, man, this year between Sinners, between Soups and F1. And we kind of talked about this with Devin yesterday. It's like, kind of miss that feeling of a movie, like leaving the movie and just kind of just sitting with you, which I don't think I've had from a lot of movies as much over the last few years, but now like two for sure, like Sinners is just residented. You just kind of think about stuff from Sinners all the time. Well, what are this, and this, and now same with Soups. Like there's just stuff I'm like, oh, that, and then that. Like there's different things that kind of come to mind every day with it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's and the whole gun aspect of it, like he took Guardians that nobody knew who Guardians of the Galaxy were. No. Let's be 100%. 99% of people that saw that movie have never read a Guardians of the Galaxy comic book, had no idea who Star-Lord was, nothing.
Yeah.
Right. But then and he did incredible things with that, probably made 3 of the top 10 to 15 Marvel movies, 2 of the top 5.
He grew a household name.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So it's like, he did this with a property that nobody knew, but then to go to a property that everyone knows and do the same thing, I think that got me more excited. It's like I saw what he did, and this is what he can do with this kind of like magnitude of hero.
That's a great point, because like when he did Creature Commandos, like, yeah, I know you can do this with characters like that. I don't know. I know that, but what can you do with Soups? And then obviously he did it. Creature Commandos too, for those who haven't seen, I really highly suggest Creature Commandos. Like they did surprise Sean Gunn double duty in that as well, being G.I. Bro and Weasel. And Tudyk's in that as well. I like too, like the stuff with the US government in here of like, well, what do you want us to do? Like what, like, and kind of Rick Flag kind of monitoring stuff. We know Waller is kind of over Flag's shoulder as well, kind of going into his head as well. And I thought it was a lot more organic than the way they just kind of threw Waller into the Snyderverse.
Yes. I thought she was not used at all.
No.
It was like an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's this person it's kind of like Samuel L. Jackson in Triple X, it's like, I'm going to bring these people together, but not do anything.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. But it's like, if they actually give her like a character and some development and, and actually dig into that a little bit, I think that could be awesome. There's talks of them, I don't know what they're going to do with the Waller show. I don't know if it's canceled, if it's still going. I have no idea, but it's kind of like you're right. After seeing this kind of government stuff, I'm like, I kind of want to see that show.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I mean, you kind of saw a little bit of it in Peacemaker as well, right? Sure. So, and kind of the behind the scenes in Creature Commandos as well. So they kind of like, okay, like there's stuff like going on here with Flag and the government, and like that line there was like, well, the metahumans run shit now. It's like, but do they?
Right.
Does Waller want that? Do other people in this side of the DCU, do they want these metahumans running things?
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Well,
so
obviously, because we saw, like I just said, like Superman did it on his own, on his own accord. He chose, but it's like, is that necessarily the best route to give these guys that choice?
Yeah. Before we go, I don't think we talked enough about Corn Sweat, because it's hard. Like Gunn talked about, it's hard to cast Superman. Like it's really hard. And, I think, for the longest time there is chasing that Christopher Reeves high, right? Of that Superman. And I still think Corn Sweat's got a long way to go to catch Christopher Reeves, but there's just, like I said, there's just so many scenes here where it's like, yes, Corn Sweat gets it. I even as Clark, I think he gets it, but he really nails the Superman thing even more than the Clark side.
Sure. I thought he was pretty good, Clark. I like the one scene where he's running through the New York traffic, kind of thinking like lifting his bag up and everything. I'm like, that's Clark Kent. That is a Clark Kent move. Like he's just like an everyman. Yeah. And the joke of like how they address the glasses.
The hypno glasses.
Right. I thought that was great, but it's like, I liked him. I actually really liked him as Clark, and I think I needed I didn't think I needed more of it. It was good. It was like the right amount of like,
I think Wendell Pierce is like the perfect amount.
Oh, he was so good. His like 10 minutes of screen time was amazing. Yeah. I love Wendell Pierce.
Yeah. I mean, doing double duty this year, Thunderbolts and this.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Where do you put this now all-time Superman? Is it third? Is it second? Is it lower?
I'd have to go back and watch 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one is just it's the first.
It's iconic.
It is. You can't touch it. 2, I got to go back and watch 2. 2 is the one where I'm kind of sticky on. Yeah, but I think it's either second or third, depending on what my my review on 2 is.
Yeah, and like I said, like not to be broke, it just gets me. Were you more growing up? Were you more DC or Marvel?
The DC. I was Batman.
Yeah. See, I was more DC, and then it just kind of got to the point. I was like, well, and when like BVS struggled and all this stuff, I'm like, wow, it's just hard to be a DC fan. But Marvel, like I like Marvel, and started reading more Marvel comics, like Midnight Suns and stuff like that. And by the way, like when we get to it eventually, when we get to Justice League Dark with Etrigan and Constantine and Ghostman, and I only want one person to direct that. If Guillermo can direct Justice League Dark, man, that's gonna be unbelievable.
I just love to see a Constantine in this world.
Yeah. That's one of my bread and butter is Justice League Dark.
Didn't Keanu say he wants to be that role again?
He wants to be Constantine again.
Which he was great. That movie is so underrated. I think I watched it 6 months ago and I told you that. I'm like, this movie is so great.
Well, I think that's the one thing about DC I like too is some of these side characters. Like I like the darker, like I said, like Etrigan the Demon. Love, but there's a Titans movie in production, and I don't know if it's going to be Teen Titans or Titans growing up. So like that's going to be, but like if you get to like cast Raven right and cast Firestorm and cast, I mean, I would assume you need the Robin first.
Yeah.
It does sound like it's a Damian Wayne Robin in this universe. So that means that this Batman is a weathered Batman at this point. That we've had Dick. And we've had Jason Todd.
Yeah.
So Red Hood could be, I mean, live action. I mean, not to get right now the Batman rabbit hole. I know we could go on forever with that, but like if Jason Hood is already kind of happened and Joker's already killed him and he's coming back as Red Hood, like that's some interesting stuff they could do there.
100%.
So
that's it. We need a good Robin too. I don't think we've ever had a good Robin on
Chris
screen.
O'Donnell was our only live action Robin, right?
That was no good.
Is that our only live action Robin?
I believe so.
I guess Dick
Ward and
Joseph and Gordon Levitt. I guess.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon Levitt. Yeah. Oh, Robin. Yeah. A little throwaway line at the end.
Yeah, we've never really had a live Batgirl since Alicia Silverstone because the one movie got canned.
Axed.
Yeah. Bring Brendan Fraser back as Firefly in one of these now. let him be Firefly still.
You know what? Let's do it. I'm all in on Brendan Fraser, so whatever.
But I think we're in a good place. As far as the movies go this summer, it's kind of it seems like 28 years later has the highest. Did you see 28 years later?
Not yet. No.
That seems like it has the highest approval rating right now.
Yeah.
But I have not seen more podcasts and YouTube videos on anything like I have for Superman. It's been like and I think it's just people are like, oh, a fun, happy movie.
Right.
Like wow, what a concept.
And that's it. And we got that. The only other one was Sinners this year. That was the only other most talked about podcast, whatever, it was just, that's what it was. And they're two completely different movies, like we're talking like polar opposites.
At one point too, is interesting in this world. Michael B was going to do Static Shock movie.
Okay.
And I still would love to see that if he gets his hands on potentially doing that. But, we know what we have at least ahead of us. I think in the meantime, we have Peacemaker coming out here in a month.
Yeah.
And then we have Clayface, which I think you and I are really, I'm so intrigued what this Clayface movie is, like the body horror and the story that they're going to be able to do with Clayface. And I think the cool thing is Warner, I don't think gives a shit, and neither does James Gunn about like, it's not going to, they don't think it's going to be like $1 billion movie. It's got a $50 million budget, but
sure,
there's something really cool you could do with a Clayface film.
I'm excited because everything I hear, it's like, it's almost like a warning to people. It's like, this is a horror movie. This is a rated R horror movie. And I'm like, I'm in, it's like, whatever, I'm good.
Yeah. And then Lanterns next year, which, I mean, HBO's got to be thrilled with kind of this direction now for Peacemaker. I would assume, I mean, Peacemaker, I don't know if you saw like on HBO Max, Peacemaker ratings like jumped through the roof. Superman 1 and 2 jumped through the roof. And now I'm assuming like Lanterns came from a show like, oh yeah, cool, Lanterns will be cool, to like a show like, yeah, okay, I need to see Lanterns.
Yeah. Oh, and that's it. I think, with Lanterns, yeah, I mean, it's a property that's, man, it's like, I want to see something good. We saw that shitty movie and that's really it. It's like, that's, give me something more. And yeah. And it's going to be nice too, I think, because Lanterns it's rated R, right? We know this. Like it's another like, Peacemaker, and it's like, that's what I want.
It's like a space CSI, they kind of described it as.
Great.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's like this ain't your mama's DC, kind of thing. It's like rated R and edgy, and there's gonna be a lot of cussing. I think I read something with Nathan Fillion. He's like, I've never said the F word so many times in my entire career, and I'm like, that's great.
Well, that's the cool thing, because with Disney, it was like Deadpool's our movie, a bad movie, and now we kind of go back to kind of everything. Like Fantastic Four will be very family friendly, obviously.
Sure. Yes.
But with this, like it is kind of nice to be like, hey, like Superman can be family friendly, Peacemaker cannot be. Like maybe you do a Flash movie that's family friendly. Lanterns is not friendly, and also it seems like we have our Wonder Woman potentially being Bix from Andor, which would be perfect.
Amazing. Yeah. Like, I think everything, all the casting, I think, is top tier from what I've heard.
Apparently, originally, Gunn was saying the gal was promised Wonder Woman 3. And then they're like, you know what? No, we're just going to restart this thing. And I think that's the right way.
I like Gal, but they were throwing around like Ana de Armas, and I was kind of like, oh man, because I like her. I saw Ballerina. I'm into it. It was great.
You're into her as Diana?
No.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been mad if she was casted.
You know who I kind of don't hate as Diana is Katie O'Brien.
Sure.
Because she's gonna get something here.
Yeah.
In the we know her because of Love Lies Bleeding, and then Mission Impossible. I don't think she got as much shine. After Running Man.
Yeah.
I think like you and I both have heavy stock right now in Katie O'Brien. I know Adam does too.
Yeah.
I think after Running Man, people are like, okay, who is this?
Yeah.
And the stock is going to just kind of jump on Katie O'Brien.
I think so. And you know what? And maybe, I don't want to say that's what Gunn's kind of like, like not waiting for, but like, she's going to have some star power next year, going into next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
So, yeah, that's the interesting too. Like, is Glenn Powell going to take one of these roles?
Could you just think of the box office if he's Batman?
I know.
Right? But, like, it's like if nothing else, not if he's going to be good, like being a Batman guy, would I like to see it? I was fine with Affleck, so I'm going to be fine with Glenn Powell. You know what I'm saying? But like box office wise, that's
huge. You know what the funny thing about Glenn is he could both be Batman or they could cast him as Booster Gold.
Sure.
He could be either one.
Sure. And that's it, and if Gunn wants to, cherry pick all these like actors, you know what I'm saying? Like he could get Sydney Sweeney in one of these things, because she worked with Marvel, but did she, because that movie was ass, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you get her into DC in a good role with her star power, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what Marvel did at the beginning of their universe, it's like they got RDJ coming off You know, he was a name.
And Kiss Bang Bang was pretty close to there, wasn't it?
Right. He was like year before, 2 years before, 2006. Yeah. Right. But that was his like comeback, you know, Kiss Bang Bang was his comeback, and then he did Iron Man. But then Hemsworth was on the way up, and you know, all these characters were they're hitting their prime, you know, and that's what I think Gunn can do, but with these newer actors.
Yeah, the only one I don't see, it doesn't seem like Chalamet will ever do one. Which
is fine. Stay out of the he's got Dune. Stay in the sci-fi universe, but not this comic book.
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. I think you can kind of, I mean, it's very rare we do these rundowns and it's not like all positive. Like it's very exciting to kind of be in the spot now where you're like excited for these projects and like even know like I'm excited for Superman, but hey, Peacemaker is like a month away. So that's exciting.
Yeah. And just to be excited for, again, like, you know, like I keep saying, it's like something excited that DC's doing that's not Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like when Batman comes,
it's gonna be great. You know?
Last question here, last 2 questions. So as far as the future DC projects, let's just say in the next year or so between Peacemaker, Supergirl, and Clayface, where like I think you're excited for all of them, but like what would your rankings 1 to 3 be?
Yeah, I think I want to see what they do with this Clayface, you know, being a horror guy. Like I just want to see what they do with it. I am excited for Supergirl, actually. I am.
Yeah, me too.
Because after seeing this movie, like seeing how it's done, you know, just with, you know, the material, the source material they have is extensive. So they can kind of pick whatever, you know, and
I think for Clayface, our buddy Adam, I think that's the one that's going to be the most exciting for him.
Sure. You throw the words body horror, you know, you get me and Adam, like our eyebrows raise up and we're ready to go.
Exactly. But all right. Thanks, Nick, for joining. It's been fun to talk about soups. And any last comments before we get out of here?
Go see Superman. If we just didn't spoil the entire movie for you, go check out Superman, because it's a damn fun time at the movies.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Until next time, cheers and enjoy the day, people.